Yes, sir.
Hello and welcome to a demo for crashing the implementation time for Turbo Data. And this is myself, Apurva Chaturvedi. So the problem statement is that there is ever increasing data with companies, and a plug and play module is required for a large number of end clients. So many a times for data consolidation, end clients are using manual resources to load the data as well as restart and debug the process. And what we are and some of many of the processes can also be done in the night, basically through the SQL. So we are looking at how to exactly do it the same. So we're looking to crash the execution time. So that means how do you migrate from SQL to SSIS for nightly load? How does one handle errors separately? And then how does one bypass the bottleneck processes? That means store the historical data in the data warehouse during the fiscal day, right? So change in the turbo data system is which is our actually system is that in terms of SQL, you're basically executing the process in serially. That means one process after another. The process stops after there is a failure. And then there is a usage of temporary tables. There is no metadata validation when we have temporary tables. But in the ETL process, you're looking at parallel execution of data flows and packages. There's metadata validation at the staging tables. You have got multiple error handling options, and then you can redirect the rows on the failure. Correct. So this basically will help the end clients meet the SLA requirements for the management. Your nightly load times will be reduced through parallel executions, and you can also remove the error-prone data in the staging tables. And then there are checkpoints and breakpoints to handle the error-prone data. So we start off with what we call the CTEs, and within the CTE, so we basically say a CTE will go on to what we call a data flow. A procedure will go on to what we call a sequence container, right? And within the data flow, then you map out various SQL functions within the SSIS database. So for example, join, we use merge join. Then we use multicast. Multicast is primarily CTEs. Then, and then union is, of course, union and so forth, right? So you basically take a particular CT and make a data flow out of it. The other thing here is that the precedence constraints, you can set it up as success, failure, or completion. Many a times we take it as completion, so that even if the task fails, then the data is completed. And within the data flow, we redirect the rows which have failed onto a failed component. Then to validate the external metadata. So validate the external metadata. If it is set to false, that means I will not get data entry errors. So I need to set it to true, and therefore we do not encourage the use of temporary tables in the same. Then if for looking for better error handling, you can handle the breakpoints at the container level. And there are a number of actions which are possible at the breakpoint, like emailing, inserting details into transaction logs and other details. So event handlers are used for the same. And once the data flow, there has been an error. So therefore you basically got three options. You can ignore the failure, you can redirect the rows, or you have a failed component. And within the at the control flow level, then there are something called a transaction options. So supported basically means that say I've got one transaction flowing into another. So in case the prior transaction has a flow coming in, then the second transaction will join it. But the second transaction will not start its own transaction thread by itself. But a required would basically mean that the second transaction can start a transaction thread by itself. But in case the prior transaction has a transaction thread coming in, then it will join the same. So this required and supported is actually required for restarting the processes, right? And so that you can roll back the options. So what we say is that the transaction option at the container level should be required, but at the data flow level, it can be supported. Now, fail package and failure and fail parent and the failure is important. That suppose there's a package which has happened, then whether you want the complete package to fail or you simply want the parent also to fail. So that option is also there. So these are a lot of options which are there, which are an improvement over SQL. Then if you want to restart the job from the error point, then you have got what we call the checkpoint. So for checkpoint, you need to have an XML file, and you have to set the checkpoint usage as is if exists. So that will again help you reduce the rerunning time in case of an error or a failure. Then you have got options of setting up the transaction isolated. So read uncommitted is basically means that it's a dirty read. Read committed basically means that it is going to be able to handle the you read committed, read repeatable, and serializable. So serializable handles the insert updates and the delete. The read repeatable handles the basically the inserts and the updates and the deletes. And read committed basically handles the case of the deletes only. Right. So now we by and large do not use the snapshot. So it depends upon what kind of an isolation level you're looking at. So here you can set the same. In case you want to optimize a job run and use only the columns which are used as in the data flows as part of the transaction, then you can use the this particular option of running in optimized mode. That means if it will pick up only those columns which are used in the select query to actually execute the data flow. You can also set up the log settings, logging mode. Now, execute value variable is used in those cases where you use a SQL transform and you want to know the number of rows that have been loaded. So you can use that. So this is how you can actually reduce the execution times by more than 30%. So you have got parallel execution at the container level. You've got checkpoints. You can redirect the rows and then optimize the query execution using the isolation level plans. Then this is it. And if you're looking at large scale handling requirements, then you're looking at for each container, process task, and quick implementation of SQL. So these are the features which are used actually at various levels in our experience for converting the SQL to SSIS for faster load. So you can reduce the nightly load time of nightly processing by about 5%. You can better handle the data, and you can also do a data warehouse reporting over the ODS layer. Right. So again, I just come back to it. Temporary table code will go on to sequence for each container. Procedure will go on to package. You can run multiple procedures. So you can use the execute package task. And if you need to extract flat file from multiple sources, then you use the execute process task. Now with this, I come on to an actual case study wherein we have used these concepts. So this is for a case wherein a company had multiple Navision instances, about more than 156 of them, and it needed to consolidate the same for GST and audit purposes. It wanted to reduce the data extraction times, the business logic coding times, the maintenance times, and it wanted to make highly complex reports after the data load. It wanted to raise the audit facility. It wanted to handle very large data loads, and the solution has to be easy to use, easy to deploy. So basically the client was looking at only one feature: how do you lower the data load times? And then how do you buyer values, data audit and data error logging facilities were to be increased. So this was the way that, you extract the required columns into what we call the staging, then do the normalization, and then over that, the data marts. So now in this particular case, the client had multiple locations and each location had a Navision database with its own connection parameters. So each time you needed to connect to a location, then you need to set up a dynamic connection string with username and password. So the performance parameter, the process was the time of the load, the error logging and the status logging, the type of errors and the validation issues. And you needed to load 156 locations thoroughly. So one thing was that one is that the parallel load process involved dynamic connection, then assigning the number of parameters. So your procedures at each location could be either 2 or 3 numbers. It could be 2 and 3. So basically it was from which state to which state are you using and whether it's a 2 parameter or a 3 parameter procedure. Right. So in case of a 3 parameter procedure, your date from, date to, and cinema code. In case of a 2 parameter procedure, your date from and date to. Then you had to fetch the data from multiple locations, load it onto the staging layer, and then update the staging table. Now, in order to do this, this is the complete flow. So we have used a completion precedence task throughout, and these are all packages one after another. So you can see one package after another. And we had actually made this using the package explorer, right? And we had extensively used execute SQL task for data validation and variables for the same, right? So in order to basically, for each given fiscal month, if I'm loading the data, then from which date to which date, that data has to be removed. Then that we use the SQL server, sorry, with the SQL statement. And then under the procedure action, which was again executed in the SQL task, we had executed this particular stored procedure. Then we used a parallel thread process. So parallel thread process was done for faster reporting. So we made 3 such threads. Each was incorporating both the 2 parameter and 3 parameter loads. So 3 loads, 3 threads were used. And in each particular thread, it had a separate flow for 2 parameter and 3 parameter stored procedures. And then thereafter, in order to execute the threads, we used a variable to increment it by 1, 2, 3, parameters, right? Then this is how we set up the dynamic connection at each place. So this is how at user ID initial catalog. This is how you set it up in SQL Server. And after the dynamic connection was assigned, then we used what we call the connection manager and the connection properties to set up the dynamic connection parameters. Now, in order to find out how many number of parameters are there in a procedure, then we use the SQL function as given below using 6 objects and 6 parameters. And once that was done, then then we would check once the procedure was executed, then we would check whether the number of parameters is coming out 2 or 3. And based on that, that particular route of precedence constraints was taken. So once the 2 parameter count was has to be, then that particular data from that particular location was being extracted. We landed the data onto a staging layer. So this took a lot of time. So we have loaded it onto the intermediate location, which was truncate and delete, and it checked the constraints. And thereafter, then what we did was that we updated the staging table. So updated the staging table based on the particular report from report to date and the cinema code. Thereafter, in order to do the GST validation, we use SQL Server SSIS transforms. And then we got the data back onto another intermediate staging layer table. Again, for the incremental data load, that means to find out, to load the data of those companies which have not been loaded. We again went back and checked out which cinema ideas were not loaded and did the process again. The missing parameter details were then actually fed into what we call the flat file. And those locations whose data was not loaded, those details were sent down using the send email task. So with this, you can see how you can take data from multiple locations and load it onto a single data warehouse. In case of any questions, please do get back to us. This is our mndatasolutionsindia.blogspot.com. And please do visit our blogspot.com or simply type in Google and type in MN Business Intelligence India LLP. And here you will see that what are the offerings and what are the various blocks out of the same. With this, I come to the end of my demo, and thank you very much for your time.